Hello, Phil Conrad here for Computer Science 156. This is the second in a series of videos about building the front end for our training project where we are learning how to build the back end and front end of a Spring Boot React application that does CRUD operations, create, read, update, destroy, for a database table. So you're looking at the Kanban board. We've completed one item so far. Kanban board here is pretty crowded, so one way that we can see our issues only, type in my username, pconrad, and I see only the issues that were assigned to pconrad. In the previous video, we showed how to bulk assign the set of issues for a particular database table to yourself. We can also type in commit, the name of the database table. Of course, we could also type in, for example, recommendations, if recommendation request was our database table, and see where those stand, or any of the database tables. But let's go back, because commits is what we're working on. This is our in progress issue. And if I'm not mistaken, we already have a branch set up from the previous video, PC copy backend for commits. So let's take a look at what's involved in this issue. What we want is for the backend routes to be available in Swagger, and these are the implementation details. So we're going to need to go into the previous project. I'm going to open a second terminal window and go to the repo of the previous project, UCSB CS1 56 F24 team01 staff is where I worked on that. And I'm going to get checkout main, get pull origin main. Now, as it turns out, some of the pull requests that I worked on for the commits table have not yet been merged into main. So I will actually need to go to a different branch to get those. So let's quickly do a get fetch origin to make sure I have all the latest branches. And I believe if I now do a get branch -a, it's the branch PC delete for commit table is the final branch that has all of the code for the back end for the commit table. So that is the branch that I'm going to check out. Get checkout PC delete for commit table. Oops, need to get rid of that / there. All right, and now if I do code dot, I now have two. Let's see, I should have two VS Code windows here. Yes, I have one for my team02 and one for my team01. I'm going to be copying from here, and let's start with, actually, let's go back and look. So find commit.java under entities, commit repository under repositories, commit controller under controllers. And then we want to do this for the tests as well. I believe we only have tests for the controller. We don't have tests for the repository of the entities class. So it'll be these three Java files, this Java file, and then we want to get the database migration file. So let's take a look over here in our team01 window, and we'll go under entities first. We'll grab commit.java, and we'll go in here and go under source main Java, and then under entities, we'll just paste that in. That's simple as that. Then we'll go back over here. Let's see, we want to go to team01, and we want to go into repositories, grab the commit repository, and drop that into the repositories directory. And then what else do we need to do? We need to get the controller. So under controllers, here's our commits controller. We will drop that in under controllers. And then finally, we need the tests. So under tests, here's our commits controller tests. We will drop that in under, we'll just go ahead and close up main, open up test, Java controllers, drop that in, commits controller tests. And then finally, we want to go under target, no, not target, resources. We want to go under source main resources. Let's call close up controllers, repositories, entities. You see we're under source main resources, and then there's DB. Under DB migration, there's changes. There's commits.json. Come over here and look under main, source main resources, DB, migration changes. Here's all the JSON files. Plop in commits.json. All right, so I believe if we go back over here, we copied over commit.java, commit repository, commit controller tests, and the database migration file. And so now we want to make sure that everything is working on Swagger. So we're pretty much done with team01 at this point. We can close that, can close the VS Code window, come over here and do Maven Spring Boot run. And we will Command T, by the way, on Mac at least, will open up another terminal window already in the same directory. So that saves you a little bit of time. CD frontend, NVM 2017.0. But, oh, NVM use 2017.0. That's better. And now npm start. Apparently I need to do an npm CI here. If you get the React scripts command not found, it's because you have to do an install. And that makes sense. I haven't, I've cloned this repo, but I actually haven't run the app yet. So this is the first time. So npm CI will install all of the dependencies. Now I can do npm start. That should bring up a window on localhost 3000. And that will give me the big yellow link that takes me to localhost 8080. And here we are. So now I can try logging in. Oh, OAuth client not found. Looks like I've got to set up my .env file. So I'm going to pause the video while I get that set up. Okay, actually I unpaused because I realized I can show you a little shortcut here. Because we're working on localhost, my client ID and client secret just have to be one that is configured for localhost. And pretty much all of them are. So I can actually copy from my team01 repo, the .env file, to my current directory. I don't have to reveal the secrets or anything. It's there. And now, if I do Maven Spring Boot run again, with luck, OAuth will just work. So let's go back, try it. And indeed, I am logged in. So now I should be able to go to Swagger and find my commits. Here they are. Let's try posting. So message would be something like PC, updated tests for blah controller. This would be something like https github.com some org some repo /commits /abcd ef 1 2 3 4 5, something like that might be the URL. P Conrad and the commit time 2024 1031 T 1234 Z. That is the Z for Zulu time because a commit time has a time zone on it. Execute, and that worked. So I could test all the others, but I'm pretty confident that they work. Plus, we're going to run, when we push this, it's going to run all of the unit tests and so forth. So I don't feel the need to test all of those right now. We call this a smoke test. We just test one little thing, and if it doesn't go up in a poof of smoke, then you pretty much, you say, all right, looks pretty good. I have no reason to believe that the other things aren't going to work, so that's good enough. We'll proceed. So I can also quickly just do Maven test -d test equals commits controller tests. Just a quick check. And looks like that works. So again, I'm not going to run through all the tests because this is code that I just copied from another project where I just did all that testing. Pretty confident it's going to work. But the GitHub Actions runs are kind of my safety net to make sure that all that is true. So I'm going to do a get add dot, get status, just to review that I've got what I expect. The three files, the entity repository and controller, plus my tests, plus my migration file, get commit -m pc copy backend CRUD operations from team01 for the commits table. There we go. There's a good commit message. Get push origin and PC copy backend for commits. Oops, get rid of that extra square bracket there. And since it's my first push, I'll get the handy URL to make a pull request. And that's interesting. Why did that happen? It's saying that there's nothing to compare. That doesn't make any sense to me. Get status. So we are here in team02 F24, PC copy backend for commits. Yep. And that's where we pushed it. Let's see. Let's go to pull requests. Okay, now we see this compare and pull request. I don't know why that other thing happened, but now it's working, so that's all that matters. In this PR, we copy over the entity, repository, controller, and controller tests, and DB migration file, i.e. the entire backend CRUD functionality for the commits table from the previous project, team01 staff. And if I wanted to kind of show my work a little bit, I might make a screenshot of this, paste that in and say to test. This is always nice in a pull request to show how you can test it. To test, fire up the application on localhost or Doku, and make this a list here. Fire up the application, log in, go to Swagger, try each of the endpoints in the following screen shot. Create pull request. All right, we have a nice pull request title, a nice pull request description. Those are very important. And during the legacy code phase of this course, if you don't have a good title and a good description and a clear way to test, your pull request will get rejected and you will not earn points for your team. It'll just slow things down. So please do make sure that you put in a good title and a good description. If you want to know more, go to the website for the course and type in PR checklist, and there's a nice checklist there that talks about what should be true of a good pull request. But for now, let's go back and see. We've got our issue. We've got all of these done. We did this final acceptance criteria, and we have our pull request. So what we want to do is go to that pull request. This is issue 80. So let's go back. This will take us back to our repo. Go back to the pull request. The one thing we forgot to do is put into the pull request right at the top, closes number 80, copying the files. And we update the comment. So now this pull request is, you can see this, for some reason, it doesn't immediately update here. But if I click on the issue, it is linked to the pull request. And now if I click on that, now it is linked to the issue. So they're linked to each other. And I can go to my project and I can drag this one over. Now, again, it's all crowded, but if I type in my GitHub ID, I can see just my issues. Drag this one to end review. And this is issue 80, so 81 is the next one to work on. So this is what we're going to do next. I believe there may be some hints at the end of this issue on what to do next. Yes, start on your next issue, assign it to yourself, drag to end progress, create a new branch, and start on the new issue. So that is exactly what we will do in the next video. Thanks for watching.